Wait. Hello. Good evening, even. We're back, and everything is going to be just fine. There's nothing to be worried about. That was the sound of me unplugging my mouse. Don't worry about it. But there's nothing for us to be worried about. Everything's going to be just fine forever. There's nothing bad that can happen. Absolutely nothing bad happens to the Dawn Servant. Okay, I managed to not spit my drink all over my desk. I hope you're proud of me. Right. Last we left off. Hello, Barry. I hope Dark Souls 3 was good. For context for everybody, hello. My name is Will. I program video games. You join us at an interesting time. If you have not played Final Fantasy XIV, let me catch you up to speed real quick. Let's go over what I've been doing while I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV. I'm going to do what always makes everyone from Barry's stream mildly confused whenever he relates to me and I'm playing this game. Let's take a look at my notes. Whoops. Yeah! So, context. Final Fantasy XIV is an MMO. And wait, I need to be at the right angle for this bit to be funny. So context, Final Fantasy XIV is an MMO with a heavy story focus. I've been playing through it the last couple of years because I'm lazy and slow. And as I go through, I've been taking notes. notes kind of like these over here. These are my color-coded notes that I write as I go through the game to help me track characters, events, dungeons, etc. so I know what's going on. If you have played Final Fantasy XIV, all of this is going to be delightful. If you haven't, it's fine. Should you play Final Fantasy XIV? It's a lot of fun for me to play through. But yeah. So, right now, I am in Dawntrail. For those of you who don't know, Final Fantasy XIV, base game and a bunch of expansions. You've got A Realm Reborn, that's the base game. Heavensward, the end game of Heavensward is where Final Fantasy XIV actually starts to get good. Stormblood, the good one, don't let anybody lie to you. Shadowbringers, the one that everybody loves the most, and I don't hate them. Endwalker, the one that wraps up the story, and then Dawntrail, the current one, which is where the story is right now. You may be noticing I said the one that wraps up the story, and then Dawntrail. Don't worry about it. Actually, do worry about it. You don't need to know anything about Final Fantasy XIV in order to start playing at Dawntrail, not realistically. However, I am roughly, let's call it 30 to 40% of the way through Dawntrail right now. So if you really, really care about spoilers, then my blessings. To catch everybody up, or to give a short story summary of where we're at right now. Basically, Dawntrail takes place in the analog equivalent of North/South America, realistically. Like, literally, everything is very South American themed in Dawntrail right now because I'm on the southern side of it. And we are worried about something called the Right of Succession. All of South America, basically, is this nation called Tuliolo. The Dawn Servant is the guy in charge of it. He's a real cool dude. We like the Dawn Servant. He's nice. He's also old, and he's trying to figure out who his successor is going to be. We have teamed up with the Third Promise. All his children are called the First, Second, and Third Promise. Catwoman named Wook Lamont. We like Wook Lamont. She's cool. And the Right of Succession, which is the actual plot point that Dawntrail revolves around, is basically we need to follow the Dawn Servant's footsteps of like all this cool stuff he did in Tuliolo in order to actually unite it into a nation and find keystones in order to unlock a gate at the end is all you really need to worry about. The point of the story that we're at, there are 7 keystones that we need to find. We have 6. You'll remember that I said we're roughly 30% of the way through the story. What just happened was that there's 4 people who can be the next Dawn Servant. There's the First, Second, and Third Promise. There's Wook Lamont, the Third Promise, the person that we like. There's Zuralja, the First Promise. And there's Kawana, the Second Promise. These are all, by the way, adopted, basically. Zuralja is the only biological son of the Dawn Servant. Kawana, the Second Promise, and Wook Lamont, the Third Promise, are both adopted, which is why Zuralja is a lizard man, Kawana is a cat boy, and Wook Lamont is a lioness. You might be saying, isn't a cat boy and a lioness the same thing? To which I say, you sweet summer child. The 4th person in the race to be Dawn Servant won basically I think it was like a combat contest or something that anyone could enter. His name is Bakul Jaja. He's an asshole. Don't worry about anything else. The actual process of getting all the keystones is realistically at this point very, very, very spelled out. It's basically just not just getting the keystones, but it's also a test or like a way to temper the people who are going to be Dawn Servant to make sure that not only can they literally be strong enough to rule, but also that they care enough about the people that they're going to rule. A lot of these tests, the correct way to do them was by learning more about the people the tests were around. For example, the like second test, the Feet of Gold. The actual test itself was to catch an alpaca, but in order to catch an alpaca, yes, literally an alpaca, in order to catch an alpaca, you needed to get a special saddle made by the Pelu Pelu, which is basically like a, think of them like a gnome race, essentially. You had to get a special saddle, and to help you start out, they gave you a basket of 100 of wool worth about $100. The saddle was worth about $10,000, and you were expected, since the Pelu Pelu are a heavily merchant community, to literally use that $100 basket of wool to trade all the way up to that $10,000 saddle. We were basically the only ones. Wook Lamont was basically the only person to actually do the trials as they were intended to be done by helping out with the local communities. Except, the color coding here, by the way, is green is a good person and red is a bad person. You'll notice that Zeralja is labeled as a bad person. He's the first promise. Bakul Jaja is labeled as a dickhead. He's the fourth promise. Kawana, the second promise, started off being kind of snobby. He's very tech focused, but over the course of the story, he's matured into a much more like liking the people area. He is the one that arguably the Light of Succession has worked on the best to actually temper him into a proper ruler. You get the gist of it. We have 6 keystones. The last keystone we just got was a test where they actually split it into a 2v2 contest where only 2 of the 4 people could get keystones. Wook Lamont and Kuana were on a team, and Zerolja and Bakul Jaja were on a team. And no surprise, our girl, Wook Lamont, and our boy, we're calling him our boy now, Kuana, won, which means that it is now impossible for Zerolja and Bakul Jaja to win the contest. The right way. You will also notice, as I actually go to the game, the next quest is literally called A Father's Grief. So welcome to Final Fantasy XIV. Shit is about to get real. Everybody else here, you don't need to care about as much. Alphino, Alize, and Kryle have all been here since forever. They're core characters. Alphino and Alize are literally the first 2 characters that you see in the game, I think. Wook Lamont is the Dawn's Promise. She wants to be the next ruler of the nation. Anvil is just a cool dude. I'm not going to explain him, but he's cool. He's basically our guide. Let's go! It's going to be fine. It's going to be just fine. Yay! And if you see me looking down, it's literally because I'm taking notes. Right. Welcome. Seeing as we now face the penultimate objective of the rite, it would be wise to travel to Mamook and undertake the feat of the Brotherhood without delay. Wise, yes, but impossible. The Teenbeck Traverse, which connects the upper forest to the Jatika heartland, is still impassable. What was that? The feat of Brotherhood? Is there no other route? I'm afraid not. Work to clear the path is underway, though, so I'm hopeful we can resume our journey soon. Then let us use this time as we see fit. I, for one, would like to explore the village's surrounds, if Aaronville would oblige me with a tour. Very well, I have no other arrangements. As soon as you hear the actual voice acting, you're going to realize how bad my accents are. Then I will come with you, if only to prove that I am capable of keeping my footing. She fell in a hole. It was very funny. Please laugh. Though I shouldn't rejoice in our delay, it does afford me an opportunity to look into my grandfather's purported visit to Yaktel. Oh, that's right. Mablu did say something about a foreign mage coming through here decades back, didn't he? Want to join us, Dekka? Can you tell who my character is? Let us reconvene here after our respective diversions. As I recall, the merchant met my grandfather at a market in Yaktel some 20 years ago. Any who might reliably remember him must therefore be at least middle-aged. Let's make inquiries where we can. If you still... I'm just going to keep providing context for this entire stream. But essentially, Kryle, who's cool, we like Kryle, her grandfather disappeared on this continent at some point 20-odd years ago. And her desire to come to this continent was because the Dawn Servant, I think, actually sent a message meant for her grandfather to come back here. And that's why she's so curious and looking about. Again, we're going to be very explicit here. They literally call this area the New World. This is where the rest of the game has taken place. This is the North-South this is the New World, which was discovered about 80 years before the game took place. It is mentioned before Dawntrail, but this is the first time we've been in it. If you're wondering about the politics of that, watch my last VOD. Anyway, a foreign mage 20 years ago. Yes, I remember him. It's not often we get visitors from across the salt, let alone those traveling with infants. A baby girl, as I recall. Oh, the reaction, that's cute. I only saw him in passing, mind. If anyone were to know more, I'd wager it would be Hunmun Rook. He was already Zabrax Rax then. A baby girl? It couldn't have been. Thank you, sir. That information is very helpful. And also the slightly rare but very important pantomime talking as it fades to black. Yes, I've actually had a phrase for that every single expansion. It started as the classic Edgeworld is I think where I got the joke, where basically a bus passes and in that time they've explained everything that happened. In this expansion, it's a blimp floats by. A blimp floats by. Every single time it fades to black and then someone has explained something off screen. Dirigible, excuse me. Hello again. Do you require assistance? A foreign mage passed through Ikbrax roughly 20 years ago, possibly carrying a young child. Do you remember him? Why do you ask me? Who is this man to you? He may have been my grandfather, and I wish to know what brought him here. Your grandfather? Not by blood, but he is family nonetheless. I actually didn't know that it wasn't her biological grandfather. Fascinating. That was probably mentioned at some point. A foreign mage did indeed visit Ikbrax, Master Galoof. The reaction of everybody else, and Wiklama's just dead stone face. So far as his identity is concerned, I trust you are satisfied. More than that, however, I cannot say. Why not? I simply cannot. I beg your forgiveness and understanding. Very well, I will not press. Thank you for confirming his presence here. The rest I will discover myself. Out of more general curiosity, I have another question. They say the Yaqui once dwelled in these forests. Where was that exactly? General curiosity indeed. But yes, before they withdrew to Urkopatra some 5 centuries ago, the Yaqui claimed Yaktel as their own. Many of the architectural remains can be found in the lower forests, the Jatika heartland. And that's where they must have had their visions. Thank you. That answers much and more. I understand what it means to long for one's family. So believe me when I say that, though my position forbids me from aiding you further, I wish you nothing but success. By helping the Third Promise find the Golden City, you will surely find the answers to your questions. Ominous. Speaking of which, I have a query of my own for you, Dekka. May I request a moment of your company? Go on. We'll wait for you. You wanted to have known from Eureka at the very least. Does Eureka take place in the New World? Thank you for obliging me. First, let's head to the cenote behind the village. That's not ominous. Okay, well, a father's grief is ending, which is good, I guess. I was a lot more worried about a lot more death, honestly, but this seems pleasant so far. I thought Kawana was gonna fucking die. He's gonna live forever, right? It was my intention to see you off without saying anything, but Mistress Krau's plea has softened my resolve. As the leader of our community, I am glad to see that the Third Promise has surrounded herself with such compassionate and trustworthy companions. Would you tell me of her journey thus far? Oh, thank God, a dirigible can fly by. Oh. Oh no, it picked us up. Is that so? It seems the rite has been a source of great learning and growth for Work Lamont. It does me well to hear that. Oh, I'm stupid. My daughter would be about her age. Girls are rarely born amongst the Zabral, so when she arrived, the village was elated. Such joy I felt when I first held her, and pain when I found her at the bottom of a cenote. Oh, I'm not stupid. 3 years old. An accident, it was said, but I knew better. She had been pushed. Though we never caught them, a suspicious figure was seen fleeing towards the Jatika heartland, towards Mamuk. Once bitter enemies, the Mamulja and Zabral have learned to live in peace. But who could doubt the intent of such a reprehensible act? By targeting the child who would one day lead her people, the criminals sought to undermine the future of Zabral. I was determined not to let them succeed. And so I let the memory of my daughter die in that cenote, and gave her into the care of the one person I knew who could protect her. Okay. I'm with you. Hanmu Ruk. Dawn Servant Galul Jaja. Fascinating. That would explain why Work Lamont was adopted. Though she was born to lead the Zabral, fate had a greater plan for Work Lamont. Only the Dawn Servant and I know the truth, but I must now take you into my confidence for one reason. If the villain who attempted to murder my daughter was indeed of Mamuk, then rancor towards the Zabral still burns. I was caught off guard once. I will not suffer the same tragedy again. Oh, a lot of gears just fell into place. And so I ask you, not as the Dawn Servant's elector, but as a father, to watch over the Third Promise. Defend her from her enemies that may be lurking in shadow. Will you do this for me? Thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Why? Oh. Sorry, this is Galul Jaja, this is the Dawn Servant. Yes, he is a giant two-headed lizard. We'll get to that. Will you hear my question and answer me plainly? Address me not as the ruler of Tuliolo, but a concerned father. He was asking us how Work Lamont was doing. Suffice it to say, this conversation must remain between us. Pray, breathe not a word of this to anyone. Oh no. Oh no. Context, or rather the gears that just fell into place. Remember how I said the lizard people are called the Mamulja, I believe is the name for them? And context, the feat that we just went through was the Zabral's feat. I said that all the feats were the different races and everything, and like learning about them and everything. We just went through the Zabral's feat, and the Zabral's feat eliminated the two Mamulja that were in contention for the throne. And the only contestants that are left are the non-Mamulja. And where do we need now to go? We need to go to the Mamulja's feat, which means that if someone tried to kill a Zabral about 20 years back, whenever Work Lamont was born, because they still fucking hate the Zabral, because the Mamulja and the Zopal were at war a long time ago. Oh no! Oh no! I know writers who use subtext and they're cowards. I mean... that did happen back to back, of course, which is a little bit awkward. And also that guy, who probably works for Gulul Jaja, the dickhead. That's not good. But that's some good tension heading to the Mamulja thing. Recalling the past has rendered me emotional. I require a moment to compose myself. But please, do not keep the third promise waiting. That is really bad. That is really, 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 really bad. Oh. Yeah, the fact that we're roughly, you know, 6/7 of the way done with the actual Rite of Succession. 3/4. And about 30 to 40% of the way through the story makes a lot more sense after that. I mean, I knew that, of course, Gulul Jaja and Zerulja would be up to some bullshit. See this golden glow? That means I'm about to enter a combat instance. Oh, several cutscenes was playing sequence. Okay, cool. So it's not a combat sequence. No, it is a combat sequence. Okay, fuck it. Weeball. You're back. So what did Hunman Rook want? It's alright. You don't have to say. More importantly, the Tianbek Traverse still isn't clear yet. Something about even more rocks? Then I think I'll take the opportunity to rest. All that cooking and preparing has worn me out. Look at her go. She's a Lalafell. She's not a child. She's just very small. And they waddle to walk. It's very cute. A nap does sound tempting. I was like, yes, I play a different class every... Oh, this is from the perspective of someone watching. A moment, promise. You're one of Bakul Jaja's... What do you want? I've come to fetch you. You're welcome to refuse, but know that it would be most unwise. And why's that? I'm sure your salted friend has an idea. What do you think? Did he just nab Kyle? And they say house cats don't come when called. Follow me, promise. Also, yes. Sorry, to finish the thought that I said earlier. I play a different class every expansion. So this expansion is Red Mage because it was going to be Pictomancer, and then I found Pictomancer kind of boring. So Red Mage it was. Took a long time for me to get it up to level 90, so I could actually play it with the expansion. But I'm happy. Red Mage has been a delight so far.
What is the meaning of this? And just how far do you plan on taking us?
That's Bakul Jaja. He's the guy who won the strength contest. He's a dick. Uh-oh. Shot in the dark. Trade the keystone for his life. I mean, Hubbaruk, what could this be about?
Bakul Jaja, you snake! If you want my keystone so badly, you deal with me and me alone. Leave the Elector out of this.
Is that all you think he is? Foolish kitty! This man is the reason we are here! Take a good look at him! Go on, look! Surely you recognize your real father!
Okay, I expected this burn to be a little bit slower, but...
Don't believe us? Then ask your trusted Sellsworth. He heard it straight from the old man's mouth.
Is it true? Is Humuruk my... Your silence says it all.
Now that you understand the situation, let's see those keystones. I'll even let you fight for them. Just you and me. If that adventurer attempts to interfere, I'll kill the old man myself!
You despicable, heartless fiend! Kinsman or no, I won't stand for you taking hostages! Come on then! You wanna fight? I'll give you a fight!
Well, Clement, this is not... Well, okay. You know what? She can learn.
Such heroic caterwauling promise. I'm shaking. Guard our hostage well. We wouldn't want to attempt any thoughts of rescue. By the by, house cat, they've been instructed to put down Papa Dearest when you lose. Hopefully he settled his affairs.
Don't worry. I'm not losing to the likes of him.
I mean, no, you got this. Good luck, buddy. I believe
Well,
in you.
what are you waiting for, you blessed bastards? It's 2 against 1. Don't tell me you're scared.
I know I didn't hear you right.
Yeah, fuck these guys. Don't worry, the scary adventurer won't try anything funny.
Foreign scum! Who are you to mock me? I'll kill you, kill you, kill you all! Don't look away, Salt. I want you to watch as I tear your beloved promise to shreds!
Hey, eyes on me. The house cat, remember?
This is a lot of bravado for somebody who nearly broke her axe in half the last time she tried to swing at this guy. Alright, fuck it. Kill him. I'll be happy.
I'll say it again. I'm not losing to the likes of you. I'm going to become Dawn's servant, and I will protect my people.
Oh, am I playing as Rook Lamont? Sick. Fuck. Yeah. Sure. Hell yeah. What? In this battle, you play as Rook Lamont. Through skillful combat, Rook Lamont will gain the resolve she needs to unleash the powerful limit breaks. Not only do these attacks deal great damage, they will recover HP. Use them early and often to emerge victorious. Alright, fuck it. I'm a lot more scared for her now. I was a lot more confident in her ability to win before I knew that her life was in my hands. Increase healing. but delivers a ranged attack. Rushes target. So that's a get. Why would I ever use this? Whatever. Okay. Healing better. Ranged attack. Rush in. Got it. Fuck you. I'm coming.
Come, you mangy house cut, so I can rip you to pieces.
Now, is this an AoE combo? Yeah, that seems like it.
I'll cut you to shreds. My magic should be more than enough for Miss Middens. I'll make you eat dirt.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
No more tricks, Bakulchaja. We're settling this here and now.
Still playing the part of the brave warrior. Miss Mittens is no longer abusing me, brother.
This right has taught me so much. About my nation, my people, and myself.
Can't keep up.
I'm very proud of you, What Lamont. You're very strong and cool. I'm also very thankful that all your buttons are really simple, and that I think I'm doing alright.
How do you like this?
That's probably.
Kitty.
Oh, that's cheating. There's 8 of him.
I finally understand what it means to live in peace.
Oh, thank God. I was getting really nervous about how slow his health bar was going down,
in
but
safety and happiness.
Irritating bastard. It's time we finished. This is the end for you, kitten.
oh, thank God. I'm glad that I'm winning through the magical power of determination. Maybe I really should actually finally play. Oh, fuck. Delta was the word I was looking for. I'm sorry, I'm a Final Fantasy 14 player. It was asking me to press 2 buttons and I got really
Not
confused.
enough to claim the title of Dawn Servant. I must carry on.
It's just like playing
God's
Warrior for real.
His love for our people.
I'll grind you beneath my heel.
I acknowledge my one tank that I played. Okay, thank God. I acknowledge my one tank that I played, Gunbreaker, as maybe a weird example to pick. I don't actually know. I don't know how weird Gunbreaker is as a tank class compared to the other ones.
Here in Outstart. Why won't you die?
It's just like playing against a warrior.
I'll show you the true power of the blessed.
Uh-oh, I have to mash buttons, I assume? Whoa! I'm good.
I will be the next Dawn Servant, and I'll protect my people's happiness to the last.
Damn, I'm cool.
That's right, there's no way I'll ever lose to the light of you!
Damn, I'm cool.
What? But that was everything I had!
No, I just thought it twice.
I can't stand it anymore! Attack! This is our fight! Stay out of it! You bring shame upon us. You think we care about your stupid pride? This is for Mamuk! We cannot lose!
Oh, the great Bakul Jaja needs help, I see. Send your whole army. You still won't leave. I will prove that my allies are right to believe in me.
Such confidence! Changed. She wasn't like this before!
I learned the power of friendship, and also if you swing a big axe really hard, it hurts people. Way! Damn, I'm cool. Please don't let him live. Oh, hey, it's the keystone he stole from us, I assume. How convenient. I really thought he was going to be like the final boss of the expansion or something. I'm pleased that we've managed to beat him. And I'm even more happy that he won't escape to show up later.
What you stole.
Probably.
No. How can this be? How could that puny house cat beat all of us?
You've caused nothing but trouble with your dirty tricks. Threatening the Hanu, releasing Valyarmanda, harassing me is one thing, but you've endangered too many innocents.
Execution!
No more, Bakul Jaja. I will not stand for it. If you even think of tormenting my people again, you will answer to me.
Sometimes a leader has to order someone to be beheaded, Worklamat. I think this would be a great time to learn something new. Look at it! He has 2 heads, so you can practice!
No. No.
Oh, that's probably fine.
And he goes and forgets he had the way blocked.
He did what?
That was his doing?
The only part left in the saga is the Lay of the Brotherhood in Mamuk. The plan was to force you here so we could take the rest of your keystones.
Well, thank you for
So
being...
that's what he was up to. But, should you be telling us this?
What does it matter? You've beaten us. It's over. We'll release the hostage.
You know, I like the voice actor's performance here of the lizard dude. However, incredibly funny attitude to have. Like, yeah, we were willing to release a fire-breathing dragon upon the land to kill hundreds, if not thousands, of innocents. One that not even basically the warrior god of our people was able to beat. But you beat us fair and square, so we'll let your dad out.
Sorry. I was careless.
Are you alright? So what Bakul Jaja said about you and me.
But to single-handedly defeat Bakul Jaja, you truly are the Dawn Servant's daughter.
Don't change the subject.
It has been my honor to bear witness to your journey. Promise.
Promise. Yes. That's what I am. I'm Gulul Jaja's daughter, and Tulihyolal's next Dawn servant. Come on. Let's rejoin the others.
Okay, not to put too fine a point on it, because I don't think it's something to be actually, like, concerned about at all. But there was a comic I saw that's made the rounds a couple of times before, but which got back to the top page of Reddit recently. Where basically some kids are watching Arthur. Merlin's like, "This is Arthur. He has pulled the sword from the stone, and he's going to be the next King of England." And the kids are like, "Holy shit, our fellow little peasant friend Arthur is going to be the next king? What a great lesson about how anybody can rise and be truly great." And some guard is like, "Why would we follow this little peasant king?" And Merlin goes, "Because he secretly has royal blood flowing through his veins." And I'm just saying, Wicklamot secretly being, for lack of a better way to phrase it, like the heir to the Zabral is very funny. I didn't realize. It makes me curious what Kawana's backstory is going to be. If Kawana's backstory is actually Kawana's backstory that we know so far, Kawana is the second promise. He's the cat boy. What we know so far is that his people literally just left him in the desert, and he was found. And that's how he survived, was being adopted by the Dawn Servant. If that remains his backstory, and Wicklamot's backstory is, yes, I was actually basically the Zabral princess, but my father had to spirit me away for my safety, and now I will rule over all of Tuliolol. That's so goddamn funny. It's not actually a problem, but it's really funny. Seems we were last to return. I'm glad everyone made it back safely. Thank you for having faith in me. Keeping out of the fight, even when it got dirty, couldn't have been easy for you. But Bakul Jaja won't be the last person to threaten those I care about. I wanted to prove to myself that I can stand up to such villains, even when I stand alone. Which isn't easy to say. Which isn't to say I won't ask for your help when I need it, of course. I know better than that now. Everyone else is like, "Wait, what the fuck happened? We left you alone for 5 minutes." Sounds like someone got poo person on the personality test. Question mark? Oh, earlier in Kawana's camp.
The passage to Mamuk remains blocked. For now, all we can do is try to rest and recover. Perhaps with a meal, as my sister would no doubt suggest. Shall we borrow the kitchens and prepare some Shibruk Bibil?
So thou hast taken a liking to the dish.
Remember what happened last time Work Lamont was left alone for 5 minutes? Well, yes, I do. That's fair. She got kidnapped. Okay, so the first time she's left alone, she got kidnapped. The second time she was left alone, someone else got kidnapped. The only logical conclusion is that if we leave her alone again, someone is going to kidnap Tuliolol. By God.
As we learn to appreciate the unfamiliar, 'tis only natural that we develop new affinities. There is no shame in this.
The entire city? Tuliolol is the country. Please tell me Tuliolol is the country. Yes!
But there is in ignorance. I had barely considered what the people of Tuliolol hold dear. What hopes they harbor for the future. Our nation is built upon the bonds that Father forged during his journey across Tural.
Tural is the continent.
But so single-minded have I been in my advocacy of foreign innovations that I failed to understand my own people.
You doubt me, Almaz? You doubt my notes? You doubt my notes? You doubt me? You doubt my notes? You think I didn't write this down immediately because I knew I was going to forget? Y'all, this is the first time I remembered something. Let's fucking go. Unless my notes are wrong, in which case this is really funny.
Could someone who struggles to connect with the populace ever make a worthy Dawn servant?
Come on, I'm so sorry. I forgot. You're having a character moment. Please, let me pay attention.
To understand and connect with people is by no means easy. But there is something you can do to pave the way. Let them see you for who you really are. What makes you laugh and cry and rage. That sort of honesty is the first step towards mutual understanding and connection.
Understanding begets fellowship, as my father said. And yet, what you suggest does not come naturally to me.
I, too, have found it difficult to speak from the heart. In thy struggles, I see mine own, painful in their familiarity. Yet frightening though it may feel, if we are to move forward, we must indeed take that first step. Dispense with pretense, and simply be.
Do you remember when you first approached us, and we asked you why you wanted to become Dawn Servant? You said you wished to use the knowledge you acquired in Sharlayan for your country, and in doing so repay your father for the opportunities he afforded you. What won me over was not your ambition, but your motivation. So let your people know this, and in time, they'll come to support you as we do. You can't hide behind that stoicism forever.
That's just cute character writing.
Very well then. I will make a greater effort to be myself. By not being my usual self so much.
That's cute. I think Will is right, though. Minor correction, Tural is 2 continents, Zaktural and Yaktural. I was so close. I was so close to being right about something. It was gonna happen. Tuliolol is the city. Tuliolol is the city as well. Have I never actually wondered what the city's name is? Damn it. Okay. Alright. I was so damn close. I was so damn close. I mean, cities are basically treated as countries all over this damn game. For instance, all of Eorzea's city-states. Also true. However, that's fine. I'm going to take this L. I'm going to cherish this L. And I'm going to carry this L with me for the rest of my days. Please, my name is no longer Will. My name is Will. No, I can't do that. If I carried every L I took with me forever, my name would be Will. And then that continues for about 234 seconds, give or take. I don't even think it's really an L. It's not, but I'm going to treat it as one for comedic and overblowing purposes. So what's the state of the Tienbeck Traverse? Still being cleared, I'd assume. Hunmunruk said he would notify us as soon as work was done. Then perhaps now would be a good time to consider how we might reclaim Wuklamot's stolen keystone. The next feat will be our last, after all. Funny thing, that. Oh, I got it back already. I already got it back. Oh, cool. We're doing this in a cutscene. What? When? Not to mention how. This is Bakul Jaja we're talking about. You left me alone for 5 minutes. You thought I couldn't get this plot settled? So I taught him a lesson and took my keystone back. You bested Bakul Jaja in single combat. Bravo! What can I say? I've had some good friends to encourage and cheer me on. But then you develop some sort of JoJo power where you can attack people with your horde of L's. Ooh. Now, how many JoJo characters die? All of them. There you are. Our excavators have contacted me with news of their success. The Tienbeck Traverse is now safe for travel. Then we can finally make for Mamook. Come to think of it, isn't it Bakul Jaja's home? We can only hope its residents don't share his winning personality. If it is indeed the city where Kentenram first met the Dawn Servant, surely some civility awaits us. I would not be so certain. It is true that the Dawn Servant received Kentenram and Mamook and was instrumental in the establishment of friendly relations between the Zabral and Mamulja. But since that time, most of the Mamulja who supported his peace have left the city in favor of abiding in the capital. What remains is a cloister of Mamook, and while these traditionalists do not take up arms against us, neither do they bear great love for outsiders. Oh, whatever they like, the people of Mamook are also of Tuliolal. If I'm to be Dawn Servant, it's my job to know them first of all. Fuck. Well, we'll be on our way then. I'm glad I could learn about where I came from, and eat so much Jibuk Pabil besides. Jibuk Pabil besides feels like a tongue twister. Type that 5 times fast. Thank you for everything. Oh, thank you for everything, Hunmunruk. Till next time, take care. Nighty. First, we make our way across the Shobrit Cinderfield, due southeast. Last trial. We don't know where Zerulja is. It was heavily implied that Mamook Jaja kind of became a pawn of Zerulja. So I'm not really expecting this to be over. Oh, you have grown indeed. I mean, of course I'm not expecting this to be over. Main story goes up through level 100. We're not halfway done. not mentally prepared for the complications that will come. I know people's reactions to Dawntrail has been mixed to bad. I understand that. I think that me stepping away from Final Fantasy for such a good amount of time has really helped me with that. For context, I actually finished Endwalker, I think about a month or two before Dawntrail came out. Maybe like a month after Dawntrail came out. So... And then I just took a big fucking break. Deciding, like, yeah, I'm all good. I've had my fill for a minute. I'll get to Dawntrail when I feel like it. And then it took a long time to feel like it. Honestly, half the reason I opened up Dawntrail to play it again was because my brain wanted to start using my streams to actually play all the games, which I felt like I really wanted to, but never really had the motivation to play in my own time. It's a lot easier to sit around chilling than to actually get through my to-do list. And don't worry, Inviso Guy already made fun of me correctly for me going like, ah yes, I will use stream to complete all these games I want to play. And Viz saying something along the lines of, and the first game you picked to play was the Forever game? Which is so goddamn right. Regardless, to my point, took a long time for me to be ready to play Dawntrail. And I think that good gap, that nice rest between Final Fantasy XIV and more Final Fantasy XIV has done me a very good service. Now, admittedly, I'm really scared to pass judgment yet. I know Stormblood is the most contentious expansion. I know the joke is that no matter what, when a new expansion comes up, everyone will argue about Stormblood again. But if there's one thing that I will agree with people on, it's that the start of Stormblood is a little rough to get through. Like, the start of Stormblood, the middle of Stormblood is, like, really not just emotionally heavy, but it really kicks that emotional weight into you a bunch of times to really make you feel it. So, to say, I'm aware that different points in expansions can be good or bad, and I've only played for about 30 to 40% of the expansion. But my impression of that first 40% has been positive. Not overwhelmingly positive. I really enjoyed the essence of running around and learning about all these, cultures before I settle in. I think it's a hell of a better introduction than fucking Realm Reborn, which was, I think, a pretty bad introduction to Eorzea. A forced introduction, but not really a great one. But there's context for why they had so much trouble. Alright, ba-da-ba. I'm very curious about, also, as we approach the Mamuksha, like, hometown. Very curious about that Bakul Jaja flashback, which almost looked like a bunch of, like, empty eggs or something. But we'll find out. Personally, I like Stormblood more than Heavenward, lol. Agreed. Remember how you insisted this forest is green? Context, this was called the Blue Forest when we landed. And we were all like, it's green, Aaronville. But now, we finally get to go into the neat blue part. Yay! See, anytime I've talked to Will about A Realm Reborn is a goddamn miracle, but also it's a shame that... Oh, see, anytime I've talked to Will about how A Realm Reborn is a goddamn miracle, but also it's a shame the way it is. Fucking right. This path is quite steep, isn't it? Let us take our time and descend safely. I appreciate that they actually put conversations with characters halfway down, so that everyone wouldn't immediately jump to the bottom of the spiral. Which, there's no more characters to talk to. Yeet. I spoke with one of the excavators on my way down. Apparently, Bakul Jaja cleared away the one fallen tree remaining by barreling through it. That Work Lamont single-handedly defeated someone possessed of such physical might is nothing short of remarkable. Still, we ought to proceed with caution. There's no telling what his wounded pride might compel him to attempt. Yeah. I'm not gonna restart the discourse. Stormblood is good. A Realm Reborn is impressive, but still not good. Aaronville said this traverse was dug to facilitate incursions into the forest above. Intentions notwithstanding, you have to admire the dedication. Heaven's patch MSQ fucks, but Heaven's Stormblood base games are closer than the Zeitgeist would have you believe. That's shocking to me, or that's surprising to me, only because I agree with you that Heaven's Word post-game is where the game gets good. Like, it is the actual first part of Final Fantasy XIV, which I will genuinely say is good and not put an asterisk on it. Wow. Hey, Alex. Remember the pretty glowing forest in Palia that got added recently?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. This is going to be very fun to quest through. If very easy to get myself lost. I'm curious because these mushrooms were on the trees in the main green forest above us too. So I'm surprised / confused why these are glowing and the other ones are not. Alluring, isn't it? In more ways than one. Take my paring stone and hold it close to the glowing rock. Okay. As you hold the paring stone and the soft glow, oh fuck, was I not supposed to chuck it up in the air? It affixes itself to the boulder with surprising force. Oh, it's magnetic. Paring stones are natural magnets, and that's a meteorite filled with iron, one of many remnants of an ancient meteor shower. The heterogeneous ether they emit causes surrounding flora to grow unique hues, as you can see. Sorry, are these space rocks radioactive? Should we be worried about that? So these glowing boulders came plummeting down from the heavens. Vidral be merciful. There you are. Taking in the view. Blue. It's all blue. A far cry from the upper forests indeed. This place is already so fascinating. I'm eager to hear what the people of Mamuk can tell us about it. Keep running. We're almost there. Oh, I should send you how I ranked all the patches on a second playthrough. Wait, I shouldn't until you caught up, Lamau. Okay. So here's my personal opinion. This is First Instinct going from worst to best and dividing the post-game and the main game separately. Post-game Realm Reborn is the worst. Main game Realm Reborn is second. Main game Heaven's Word is after that. I'm gonna put post-game Stormblood next. Ooh. My brain almost wants to put post-game Shadowbringers, but that feels completely wrong. Let's put... This is going to be controversial, and this opinion is going to change as I remember more things. But I'm going to put post-game Endwalker. Then I'm going to put Stormblood. No. Then I'm going to put main game... Yes, main game Stormblood, as much as it pains me. Ooh. Okay. First instincts. Post games are Realm Reborn. Main game Heaven's Word. And then it gets hard. Then it gets actually hard. Then it goes... Post-game Endwalker. No. Post-game Endwalker. Post-game Shadowbringers. Stormblood. Post-game... No. Post-game Heaven's Word. Oh god, I've left the Endwalker main game so high. Oh god, I left the main game Shadowbringers game so high. What is my favorite expansion? What is my favorite expansion? Let me start backwards from there. My least favorite, of course, is A Realm Reborn. There's a reason I put A Realm Reborn post-game and then A Realm Reborn at the bottom without hesitation. And main game Heaven's Word right just barely above them. What's my favorite expansion between Stormblood, Shadowbringers, and Walker? God, maybe the post-game Stormblood is a lot better than I... No, the post-game Stormblood has so many problems. So if we do this, we have Realm Reborn, and it's post-game. We have Heaven's Word, and it's post-game. We have Shadowbringers, and it's post-game. We have... Not Shadowbringers, Stormblood, and it's post-game, excuse me. I actually don't know what the official shortening of Stormblood is. We have Shadowbringers, and it's post-game. And we have Endwalker, and it's post-game. So we have 10 things to rank. AR post-game is easily 10. A Realm Reborn is easily 9. Heaven's Word base game is easily 8. I think I feel fine putting Endwalker post game at 7. What happened in the Shadowbringers post game? Not much to my memory. Like, yeah, we actually defeated like a big baddie in there, but it was kind of anticlimactic and uninteresting. Maybe I'm okay putting 7 for Shadowbringers, 6 for Endwalker, 5 for the Stormblood post-game, 4 for the Heavenward post-game, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I'm not confident in this. I would need to revisit what happens and everything to feel good about this. But as a first instinct, this is how I would divide it up. I know for an absolute fact that this is undisputably the bottom of Final Fantasy XIV. And I also know for an undisputed fact that these are my 1, 2, 3. It's sorting out these post games. I think I feel pretty confident in labeling this as 4. It's these post games. Oh god, but Stormblood's post game is really good. It kind of drops the ball at the end, but it is really good. No, I'm fine ranking it below. So yeah, it's just my lack of memory. God, I even feel awkward about calling Shadowbringers my favorite. But as mad as I would at the end, it's kind of hard to deny that Shadowbringers is probably the best. Sorry, everyone has been typing at me, probably. Oh no, I derailed the stream. Nope, that's fine. Don't worry. We'll see. I'm waiting for my doctor to get back to me. Mainly Divinity, but I feel like Realm Reborn post-game is so long it could be 2 different rankings. Honestly, maybe, but that's why it goes in number 10. If I break it into 2 different rankings, it's just going to be 10 and 11. A little bit of shenanigans for the most part in the Shadowbringers post-game. God, is Shadowbringers post-game lower? No, it's not lower than Heaven's Word. So the minimum is that it's number 7. First half of the Realm post-game sucked, but the end might be the only reason I kept playing. The ending of the Realm Reborn post-game is inarguably the best part of this block, of this bad block. However, part of the reason I can't give it any credit is that 1, it's the ending, and 2, Heaven's Word fucking dismantles it, which is why Heaven's Word is not allowed to be higher than 8, because of how badly it fumbles the Realm Reborn post-game ending. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but the Endwalker post-game is pretty sick. Remind me what happens in it? I mean, there's a reason I put it at 6, and that's just based off of mostly, like, half-remembered vibes, but I don't remember it enough. Shadowbringers postgame was Eden Raids. We're not counting the raids. We're just talking main story quest here. And finding a cure for tempering and beating up the last of the Uncentered and sticking him in the Crystal Tower. And then lead up to Endwalker where towers pop up and start mass tempering people. Okay, the one thing I'm going to give you here is that the towers popping up and mass tempering people was pretty good. I still really like the Stormblood post-game, so I could see flipping these. Maybe in the future, when I'm less trying to glaze Stormblood, I would drop this lower, but... I mean, partial to Realm Reborn post-game, and that's when I started getting to going, and I think it's actually why people love Heaven's Word so much. I mean, Realm Reborn post-game was rough, but to be fair, most of the reason I remember Realm Reborn post-game was Crystal Tower, which was such a long diversion that I was not interested in. And hey, it fucking paid off. Fair credit, but it was a very long diversion. Endwalker post-game is all the void stuff with Zero. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. That's fine. Also, why did that happen? We set up the Void, I guess, for another expansion. Maybe it'll come up later in Dawntrail. Maybe it'll come up in Evercold. I don't know. I haven't watched the Evercold teasers at all. I have no idea what happens there. Besides, from the name and the fact that I know that's very ice-themed, I'm kind of assuming that we're going to be spending a lot of time in Yaktoral as opposed to spending our current time right now in Shaktoral. But we'll see. Fucking Zero, my homie. I mean, it was fine. It was okay. It was just fine. Endwalker postgame might be the stuff I'm most neutral about. I have few strong feelings about it. We'll give Toucans a second because we're calling Zero the homie. So we'll see. Like, I remember liking Zero. But Zero didn't make me think in the same way that Stormblood postgame came up. This is why you could probably gather just from the way that I talk as I go through the game and I like read all the story and stuff, that Final Fantasy XIV, don't get me wrong, it's not the first time I tried to understand a complex media or anything, but it's a game which I love to engage with by thinking through not just the quality of a story from how it's told, like how much I personally enjoy it, but also the actual quality of the writing and how much that story makes me think and how they execute on... I'm trying to think of a way to say this which isn't just going to be regurgitating a bunch of freshmen in high school English terms. Like, I really like engaging with Final Fantasy XIV because since it's such a long-form story that I'm able to also play a game while I'm enjoying, it's a lot easier for me to get through, and I really like thinking deeply about not just what the game is saying in terms of the text, but also what the game is saying in terms of really digesting that text and trying to interpret deeper meaning from that, for lack of a better way to phrase it, which is why I really like Stormblood, and I really like Stormblood's postgame, because Stormblood's postgame, before I dropped the ball, really was making me think a lot about redemption and punishment and the morality of, like, what do you do if someone has done something truly terrible but they genuinely regret it? What do you do if someone has done something truly terrible but the person you catch is basically literally not the same person anymore? Like, Stormblood's postgame was really, really interesting to play through, not just because I was excited to see what the characters did next, but because I was invested in why they were doing what they were doing. Until it dropped the ball. Which is why I love Stormblood, because Stormblood in general is definitely an acquired taste, but I really liked the way it made me think as I was going through the story, rather than just enjoying the character moments and what was literally happening. God, it feels... Do I like the Heavensward postgame more than Endwalker? No. I'm very comfortable putting Stormblood Shadowbringers and Endwalker in my top 3. And I'm very, very comfortable putting Heavensward postgame in 4, and then there being a small gap, and then being Stormblood postgame, and then there being a slightly bigger gap. They are interesting questions. Too bad it pushed those questions off a cliff. At least it didn't fumble as bad as fucking Heavensward did. My hot take is the Void stuff felt entirely inconsequentialist, especially when we basically did the same thing 2 patches ago. I don't like the framing, not because I necessarily disagree with you. As I remember the Void story, I was also thinking to myself, man, why does this matter? Why do I care about what's happening in the Void? However, one, I think it's set off that is going to pay off. I think the amount of effort that they put into the Void is setting up for future character and development in the Void. I would love a full expansion in the Void. I think that the implications of what happened in the Void I think that it was the best place to put the Void stuff was after Endwalker, because Endwalker was essentially this exploration of, like, there was this whole basically perfect utopia world, and then it shattered, and that's what, you know. And then the Void basically being a hell that came out of that, for lack of a better word, without going into more detail, because I don't want to... We're in full spoiler territory, but I'll keep it a little calm. It's a live stream. However... So, I respect the Void story because of its placement, because I think going through the main game of Endwalker and then going into the Void is a good progression. It makes sense to me to go into what happened in Endwalker into the Void and kind of explore that space and explore character in that space, and more importantly, set up that character for a later expansion. If/when, fuck it. When Zero shows up in another expansion and is like a main character in an expansion, I'm going to be hyped as fuck. I want an expansion in the Void. I think it's going to be great. I kind of understand why it wasn't Dawntrail or, from my best guesses, Evercold, because they have these 2 new continents to set up, and I think it is very good of them to essentially go ahead and set these up, and then hopefully set up the Void and the expansion after Evercold. I would love to see more Void in Evercold, but I kind of doubt it. If we get an expansion after Evercold, which does not feature the Void, my opinion on it will go down. If we go 3 expansions post Endwalker without going back to the Void, I will be sad, and my opinion on the Endwalker postgame will probably drop. What happened to the Shadowbringer postgame? I remember getting mad. I remember thinking that there was a villain that I didn't care about and who also annoyed me. Elidibus. That sounds right. I don't remember liking Elidibus. I also don't remember really knowing who the fuck Elidibus was. And I also remember being really confused / Elidibus, to my memory, was a character that the game really wanted me to think was really important, but I just didn't have the buy-in because I'd just gone through a whole expansion with, you'll forgive me if I don't remember the Tumblr sexy man's name. You won't forgive me. You shouldn't forgive me. But I just gone through this whole expansion with him, and he was a character who I very much, like, he did piss me off a lot in Shadowbringers. I really didn't like him throughout a lot of Shadowbringers, but he won me over. And then I really don't like how he was handled in Endwalker, but I won't go into that right now. Emmett Selk, thank you. Like, he definitely won me over in Shadowbringers. In terms of, like, here is a pompous douchebag who thinks he's... No, wait, I'm remembering more about Shadowbringers. Oh, I'm remembering a lot more about Shadowbringers. Man, I hate Emmett Selk. Damn it. Emmett Selk... No, I can't justify that. I fucking hate Emmett Selk. God, I hate Emmett Selk. Oh my god. I wanted to like Emmett Selk more post Shadowbringers. Like, the last 80 to 90%. However, Emmett Selk falls under a category of character which is specifically built to piss me off. If you want me to not like your villain at all you have to do, it's very simple. You make them an impossible wall for the protagonist to climb over, and you make the villain know that and talk to and demean the protagonist the whole time, but also not... No, wait, I'm remembering more about Shadowbringers. He does kind of try to bring... I'm sorry. I mixed Emmett Selk in Shadowbringers with Emmett Selk in previous expansions. I'm going back. Sorry, it took me a second to remember his character properly in Shadowbringers. What I remembered was Emmett Selk before Shadowbringers, because Emmett Selk before Shadowbringers really sucks. If you want to make me hate a villain, make them way too powerful in a way that's not interesting to me, and then also make them really smug about it. Smug. I hate smug characters. Smug is an easy way to piss me off, and a smug villain is the easiest way to piss me off. And pre-Shadowbringers, Emmett Selk was irresponsibly, annoyingly smug and vague. He was smug, and he was super vague about why he was smug, because rather than giving us a mystery by giving us clues that we found out, the protagonists were kind of semi-randomly given clues by the Ascians while also being talked down to throughout, like, so much of everything before Shadowbringers, which pissed me the fuck. I never was happy when an Ascian was on screen pre-Shadowbringers. They really pissed me off. To quote Elix, Shadowbringers postgame was Eden Raids, Near Raids, find a cure for tempering and being up the last on stick game of the Cursed Tower. Lead up to Endwalker was where the towers pop and start mass tempering people. I mean, I do like that part, but I feel pretty fine sticking it in 7. Honestly, here's the thing. This is in terms of enjoyment. If we were to talk termly in terms of production value and the ability of the game to tell a story, it would basically be a straight 10-to-1 this way. I think they got way, way, way better at telling a story as they went on. Like, Shadowbringers postgame is very well constructed. I just don't like it as much as I like Endwalker postgame and Stormblood postgame and Heavensward postgame. Even though Heavensward postgame is admittedly a lot rougher, Heavensward postgame bluntly gets a lot of points because it was the first part of the story which actually made me go, ooh, this is really interesting. Okay, now this is Unhinged Lamau. He's in like 3 cutscenes. I'm probably lumping him in with the Ascians as a whole, because all the Ascians are just terrible fucking characters before Shadowbringers happens. They're just so annoying. They're so smug and annoying about it, and not interesting to fight against. I don't know if I'm... It feels distinctly Japanese as a style of storytelling to have, like, the smug asshole character. Or at least it's a very Japanese style of character, the way they were smug assholes. Have I done Endwalker's raids yet? Probably not. Shadowbring is definitely where the Ascians actually start to get interesting. Yeah, and I was probably lumping Emmett Selk up with that. To be fair, also, as I'm remembering more and more about Shadowbringers, which is a good thing that I can remember about it, and I'm going to wrap up my thoughts here and then finally get back to the game because I've been spending like 10 or 15 minutes yelling about this. Emmett Selk is definitely a really smug asshole throughout like throughout basically all of Shadowbringers. It's just that the way they set it up, he wins out by comparison because he is a smug asshole, and he's a smug asshole where the writers want me to think that he's an unstoppable force that is impossible to beat, which is another bugbear. I hate invincible villains. But he's very lucky because there's another invincible villain who's way more of an insufferable smug asshole, who's all up in Endwalker, who's a little bit in Shadowbringers to my memory. A little bit. Whose name I can't remember, and I'm happy with that, because oh my god. What's his name? God. Heir of the Garlean Empire. Dies, but he's fine, don't worry about it. Then dies. Constantly wants me to be a genocidal maniac. Not Van Daniel. The Crown Prince, yes. What's his name? My brain is completely farting. Xenos, yes. If you want the most pure distilled form of what I mean when I say I can't handle smug, asshole, overpowered characters, look no farther than Xenos. Xenos is perfectly built to piss me off as much as one character possibly can. I am not joking when I say that Xenos might be one of my least favorite to be around characters in all of fiction. I fucking despise that man. I hate him. If he wasn't an Endwalker at all, it fucking might be above Stormblood for all I know. But God, I hate Xenos. Ignoring non-MSQ. Ignoring non-MSQ. So the opposite of the rules that I'm going by. Shadowbringers postgame and Stormblood postgame and Heavensward postgame are all about the same. Then Realm Reborn... Oh, I'm sorry. The arrows are going the different way. Shadowbringers, Stormblood, and Heavensward are all about the same quality. Then Realm Reborn, then Endwalker, and then Dawntrail. Once you... Oh, sorry. I'm fucking ignoring non-MSQ. The main story quest of Shadowbringers, Stormblood, and Heavensward are about equally good for you. Then Realm Reborn, then Endwalker and Dawntrail. Once you add non-MSQ, Shadowbringers shoots right up. I'm pretty shocked about that because I would have thought that you would have really liked Zero and the Void story. So I'm shocked that that section is your least favorite postgame. Gotta say, sound like Xenos is doing what he's meant to do. That's what pisses me off the most. I disagree. But the problem is that I would never be able to convince people. If anyone genuinely believed that, I would never be able to convince them that they were wrong. Because I didn't hate Xenos like, ooh, I hate this guy. I hate Xenos like every time you are on the screen, my enjoyment is actively draining like I'm taking starvation damage in Minecraft. Please leave my screen and let me enjoy everybody else, because I cannot stand you being in this narrative, engaging with me, or existing. Go away. They wanted me to hate Xenos. They succeeded. Not the way they wanted me to, but God, I fucking hate Xenos. Okay. I really, really did not like Zero because relations to other characters. Elaborate on that, and I'm going to continue with the MSQ. Not Xenos. Sorry, did you mistype? You said I really, really did not like Zero, aka the Reaper from the Endwalker postgame. Zero has Xenos Sting. I don't really agree with you on that one. I'm willing to separate Zero and Xenos to a very healthy degree. Like, yes, I know who Zero was and everything, but her connection to Xenos, while immediately alarming at first, was like, I was basically able to think of her as like essentially what she was throughout a lot of the start of the Endwalker postgame. She was basically almost a non-thinking, like, mechanical use of power that Xenos abused, is my kind of interpretation. And then, because we kill Xenos, she gets to be free, and then she gets to get, like, her emotions and essentially self back by us helping with her in the Void. That is my memory of Zero as a character, because the Void basically not just strips away everything, but it kind of, to my interpretation, essentially stripped away, like, your soul and personality just by being in it. Like, the way it turned everybody essentially, for lack of a better way to phrase it, spiritually non-human. Which was why I found it interesting and why I would love an expansion in the Void. Because I would love to see them play with that setting a lot more. I wonder what the final feat will be. Excuse me, let me go. Alright. I'm cutting myself off. I'm with y'all. I will talk and argue more about Stormblood at a later time. But I am going to do as much of the MSQ as I can because it's a work night and it's also 9:46. As this is also my first time visiting Mamuk, I have no experience interacting with the locals. But given Hunmoon Luck's parting words, I would advise a cautionary approach. Fuck, I just realized you love Stormblood and think Xenos is worthless. Correct. That's fine, you can explain that one to me another day. It's not hard to explain. Every part of the Stormblood where Xenos is on screen is the worst part of Stormblood, and the only reason that it's not even lower, in my opinion, is because since it's introducing Xenos, you don't know how insufferable of a character he is who ruins every scene that he's in, yet he doesn't get to do that in full until later. So it's fine. And also, we get to kill him. So it could be worse. Well, we all know what comes next. Let's find that Elector. Two streets seem to converge upon this plaza, so I propose we split our numbers between them. Given Hunmanuruk's guidance, I also suggest that we err on the side of caution and move through the city in pairs. Anvil can come with me, and Alize can go with Cryle. That leaves Dekka to accompany Wok-Lamont. If these arrangements are to everyone's satisfaction, then may our respective searches prove fruitful. Did I tune to this? Cool. Talking only about the content you've seen, Will, I checked the Void section to sign their new big arc after Endwalker is going to be trying to fixate the surviving shards. I also kind of interpreted it that way. I'm not going to be mad at what Dawntrail isn't. I don't know, no one knows what happens in Evercold yet. But I'm optimistic. If the Void doesn't come back, it's going to be a lot worse. But I genuinely think it's going to come back and be very interesting. I feel like Xenos didn't really do much in Stormblood except be bored. Yes, correct. And that's why he sucks. Xenos and Endwalker was just please leave. Also correct. You're sucking me back in. I love Stormblood. My least favorite moment in all of Final Fantasy XIV. In the entirety of Realm Reborn, Heavensward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, Endwalker is in Stormblood, and it's our introduction to Xenos. It's when he attacks the camp. That is the nadir of the entire game for me, is that moment. I fucking hate that. That scene is the worst scene in the entire series. Entire game, excuse me. Your words may as well be ambient noise for all the care this citizen pays you. As you begin to speak, the man abruptly turns and leaves. My Final Fantasy XIV idea was when Xenos stole our body. I don't remember that. That sounds vaguely familiar, and I'm ready to be mad about it, but I don't remember the context of when it happened. It was a brief section at Endwalker. This is super familiar, but I just can't place it, and I don't... whatever. Please tell me you've had better luck. Well, it is the feat of brotherhood. No one will talk to you either. I was prepared for hard stares and harsh words, but this is something else. That building there looks like a shop, doesn't it? Let's go and take a look. A merchant wouldn't ignore us, surely. Maybe you blacked it out. Maybe I got so angry I flat out blacked out. Maybe I forgot it on purpose. Like the sheep and Sheep Detectives. Go watch the Sheep Detectives, by the way. Me and my partner watched it last night. Incredibly good.
You cried.
I did cry. I cried on your shoulder.
I did not cry.
You did not cry. I'm very proud of you. Have you ever watched a piece of media that made you cry?
No.
No. We watched Digital Circus episode 9 together, and that made me well up. It didn't make me cry. It did make me well up. You were fine.
I was.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have actually cried on with media was Endgame.
Avengers Endgame?
And I think it was Endgame. Was it before Endgame? I don't know, it's the one where Spider-Man is Dustin.
That's, not Endgame. That's, Infinity War.
Yeah, well, it happened, and I was in theaters, and I was not mentally prepared, and it was very traumatizing.
That makes a lot more sense for why you specifically did not watch any Marvel content after Infinity War.
Yeah.
They killed your Blorbo.
They killed all of my clothes.
Not all of your Blorbos.
All of them!
What about Tony?
And then they took the lesbian and made her straight. What the fuck?
Which one is the lesbian?
Captain Marvel.
Wait, when is she straight?
Well, she's not obviously a lesbian. Like the girl that she's best friends with who has the daughter, They're supposed to be together.
I'm being sidetracked. Okay, when you say they're supposed to be together, and this is without making a point, this is simply to understand something I don't know. When you say supposed to be together, do you mean literally there is canon that, like, this happens in the comics or something? Or do you mean that, like, a bunch of people decide that they're...
I meant canon.
It is canon.
It is canon that she's lesbian. For sure.
Okay.
Let me double check. I might be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that I read that.
Because my dimmest memories of watching Captain Marvel is that I saw their relationship and was like, yeah, I can see this. I'm good with this. I don't remember if I actively shipped it while watching it. I might have. But very much like, yeah, no, these two, totally very, very good relationship. But knowing that, and knowing my own personal reaction of like, I could see this happening, makes me ask, like, is this canon? Or did everyone write a bunch of fan fiction about them being together, and you as someone who reads a lot of fan fiction read all that fan fiction?
No, in one iteration of Captain Marvel, she's a lesbian. That just happens to be the one that I was aware of.
Okay.
My bad. So I guess she's not always a lesbian. But it makes sense for her to be a lesbian because she's a high-ranking military chick. And speaking as somebody who was in the military, if you have a high-ranking military chick, it's like 1 out of 3 odds, my dude.
I'm just not gonna ask, and I don't want you to tell.
Ha
Haha! Hello there. We'd like to ask you something if you don't mind. I mean, my mother was the lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. My mother is straight. 2/3 chance. Move along, outsiders. We're just trying to find someone. The Dawn Servant's elector. Could you tell us where they are? Endwalker is your favorite expansion device. Neat. But much... Preference is shifting constantly, but much of that includes hindsight and watching world playthrough and also those speedruns. How are we supposed to find the elector if nobody will even speak with us? Everyone, can you hear me? Come to the massive stone structure on the west side of the city as quickly as you can. Where's Alfie now?
Up there.
Oh, thank you. Sup?
Bested by a mere shade.
Sorolcha. Papa?
Oh, shit. Okay. Sorry, I
Not
assumed
as you
that...
know him. What you see is an arcane manifestation of the Dawn Servant as he was in his prime.
The Channeler is Irelja, Autarch of Mamuk and Elector for the feet of the Brotherhood.
Tuli Yolal's mightiest warrior. Yet wisest you are not. You, who spurned your retainer's aid when battling your betters.
Ham-fisted, but alright.
To prove oneself superior to blessed siblings by surpassing the shade of Galul Jar Jar himself. That is the final feat. The first promise fought alone and fell short, but that is now the least of his concerns.
You could have let your foolishness end with your failure. But instead, you attempted to harm an anointed elector.
Why the fuck would you?
Zoralja, as of this moment, you are no longer a claimant. I disqualify you from the right of succession. Be gone from my sight.
Why did this happen off screen? Was it because I was arguing too much about expansions?
This isn't over yet. I will be the one to reach the Golden City.
Disquieting. Not Zoologia, you specifically. Okay. I didn't explicitly say
When
this.
Zoralja was defeated, he tried to take the keystone by force, but he was thwarted by Father Shade.
My dearest child, welcome home.
Oh, shit.
This feat was made for you. Only blessed siblings could hope to defeat Gulul Jaja. But ere we begin, I would see the fruits of your triumphs. Come, show me your tablets.
Damn, he's only got 2? Fuck, he was doing a lot worse than I remember.
What is this? Where are your keystones? Explain yourself, boy! No matter. Not all can be expected to go to plan. What keystones you lack, you can easily take.
I tried. But I couldn't. I cannot beat her.
You mean to tell me that you, glory of Mamuk, for whom all here have sacrificed, were defeated by your inferiors? You are as useless as your siblings. A failure.
Is this guy... Okay, does anyone else know the plot of Hollow Knight?
Leave and never return! You have no place here!
Let's go, brother.
Worthless! Pathetic! This was our chance to claim sovereignty, and he ruins it!
Is that the mom, question mark?
But when these stragglers fail, Gulul Jaja will be forced to extend his rule. And in the next rite of succession, we will present a better claimant. So come, stand before me, and fall.
I mean, forget
won't do your trial.
Oh? You intend to forfeit the right?
Papa wants his successor to intimately understand the country he loves. Every step of my journey, I've learned something about our peoples and their cultures. I would do the same here in Mamuk. The Mamulja deserve nothing less, so your battle can wait.
I'm of the same mind. Father named you an elector for a reason. There must be something that he would have us learn.
Do as you will. But until you triumph over the Shade, you shall proceed no further.
Promise, I would speak with you. Meet me on the western outskirts.
Okay. I was curious about the twist here, and I assumed that Zerolja and Bakul Jaja would play a larger role in it. But honestly, I can see why that initial implementation does kind of leave out the Mamulja as a people and their city and culture and everything. So this version, where Zerolja and Bakul Jaja are much more explicitly kind of eliminated from the immediate plot, and we do have to learn a lot more about the Mamulja, is a very interesting. I also really like Wuklamad and Korana as characters here. I like the fact that they're like, we're not doing the trial yet. We haven't really earned it, which is, you know, not entirely what they're saying, but it's good. It makes sense with the way that characters have developed. It would be a lot more ham-fisted if this happened any earlier, but Keystone number 7, this makes sense. The electors we've met thus far have all had their peculiarities, but each we felt would judge claimants equally. This Zerolja, however, seems set in his belief that only blessed siblings are worthy of the throne. Why would the Dawn Servant name an openly biased man elector? Worrying over Zerolja won't get us anywhere. That lady, on the other hand, was the first person to address us with any civility since we arrived. We should go and meet her, hear what she has to say. The western outskirts, right? Okay. Okay. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I mean, if you asked me, like, what do I think is going to happen here, I kind of assume that the point of this trial is, like, Bakul Jaja knowing that the Mamulja are incredibly, dickheads. And part of the trial being like, you know, as a ruler, you need to make it that even dickheads like you, even entirely hostile people like you. I don't know how well that works with the fact that this trial, for all intents and purposes, was made to be kind of impossible. The fact, at least, that the elector said directly to Zerolja, you spurned the help of your allies, is interesting. It implies... I'm mildly confused by this character at this moment, because that happened and my brain was like, the point here is like help from allies and everything. But he's also so incredibly hostile to anyone who isn't a blessed sibling that character point is kind of muddled. I'm a little confused. Also, just because I'm thinking it, I'm mildly bemused by myself, because outfits of this type have come up a lot in Final Fantasy XIV. And every time it's been the highest item level thing, I've been like mildly annoyed about dressing Dekka in it because I haven't liked this outfit. But honestly, Dawntrail feels like the one expansion where this type of outfit makes a lot of sense to wear. At least it's not like... At least we're not in the Garlean Empire in the snowfields wearing this type of thing. You know what I mean? Thank you for coming. My name is Milalja. Here we may talk freely, away from prying eyes. Milalja. And what is it you wish to talk about? Tell me, what do you think of Mamook? Well, we don't have much to say yet. No one wants to speak with us. All who remain in the city are devoted to the traditional ways. They believe that blessed siblings are superior, that only they are worthy to lead the peoples of this continent. Most would not deign to address outsiders, deeming them beneath notice. Sounds like an ideal community so far as Bakul Jaja is concerned. I am tired, exhausted by this senselessness. There are others like me, but we dare not speak our truth aloud. Yet now we have an opportunity to reclaim our agency. I'm totally valid. I don't have a way to say this cleanly, so I'm going to say it, and I'm going to hope this makes more sense after I say it, what exactly I mean. But it's very valid to read more into the fact that this specific character is a woman, right? Like, I don't agree with this, but I haven't been able to say anything reclaiming agency. This feels on purpose slightly. For you have bested Bakul Jaja. Oh yeah, helps with that line of thinking that Wuklamot specifically is also a woman. You, a Zabral, inferior by all presumptions, triumphed over our two-headed champion. This time, anyway. Next time I might not be so lucky. Bakul Jaja is just that strong. I seriously don't understand why he cheats so much. It seems to me he'd do better if he just trusted his own abilities. He's desperate. Other blessed siblings have fallen before. Malul Jaja of the Silver Scales, for one. He traveled across the salt in search of a conquest, only to be overcome. Sorry, was I involved in that? But no matter how the individual may falter, the people still believe in blessed sibling supremacy. Have we covered the backstory of Wuk's adoption? We just got to it at the start of stream. The TLDR being that she was born into the Zabral from, like, essentially the village leader. So she was essentially going to be the next village leader. And then someone, probably a Mamook, but we don't really know yet, shoved her in a cenote to try to kill her. She survived, and the leader of the Zabral was like, okay, I'm going to give you over to the Dawn Servants because I know that you'll be safe. That's what we know. If there's anything more than that, I don't know it yet. But that's what I know right now. Sorry, I feel like I'm... Because of my father. Oddly timed line, because we're talking about your biological dad, not your dad, but fair enough. He who united Thrall under one rule, who in their eyes stands as testament to the tradition's infallibility. Regardless of your father's virtuous intent, his greatest triumph has only fanned the flames of our people's obsession. However, as both his daughter and claimant to his legacy, your triumph could prove that Galul Jaja's true strength lies not in his birth, but in his character, and in so doing, you may give us the strength to announce blessed siblings forever. I can understand wanting to forsake zealotry, but isn't forsaking two-headed Mamulja going a bit far? You must decide that for yourself, whether the price we pay is worth an empty dream. Ooh, Hollow Knight moment. Being pushed into the cenote is why she's afraid of water. You know what? I didn't catch that, but that makes sense. I thought she just got sick on boats, but that makes sense. It would also make sense why she gets sick from heights and stuff. Though, that was kind of implied to also be the locking. We're going to skip over that for right now. There's a place that will help you to understand our plight. It lies far to the west of here. Follow me. She gets bad seasickness, but yeah, that's what my understanding was, Abmaz, but you know what? While it might not be explicitly the reason, I can buy into it a little. I'm not 100% confident it's right, but it's interesting. I like it as a theory. It's nice, you know? I like that you can see other meteorites that fell, just scattered about. Obviously not exactly a labor-intensive thing to do, but just nice. Or maybe my brain is just happy that I'm recognizing things. I'll be right with you. There's some very interesting wind down here that I need to grab. Yes, good. Right. I should have thought more. I'm having a brain moment. So the obvious end to this would be something along the lines of, you know, in order to make a blessed sibling, you need to try and fail to have a kid, like, grow and actually live past, I don't know, let's just say something arbitrary, like the first year of childbirth. Like, that's my assumption, is like, so a blessed sibling is always born every time, but it living past like the first year is incredibly unlikely. And that's the sad flashbacks and everything. That's like why Bakul Jaja is so scarred and everything, is because like he had maybe even dozens of siblings, but they all died incredibly young and he lived. And that is why she's like, ah yes, the cost of blessed siblings. I hope it's not just that, because the 3 different tribes are all still one species, and I'm not 100% comfortable with the implications, but that's my something like that is probably my best guess right now. Regardless, the point that I'm getting to, and the thing that scares the shit out of me, is if that ends up being true, the thing that I'm toying with in the back of my brain is Zoralja, actually. He was born. It's supposed to be basically impossible for 2 heads to have biological children. How was Zoralja born? Because if the success rate on a blessed sibling living past like the first year or something is like, I don't know, like 0.5%, whatever. I'm interested about Zoralja, is the point. Anyway, is that a meteorite up there? Yes, I also noticed that. Aye, and judging by their attachment, that tree must benefit from the meteorite's unique ether. Anyway, we should press on. Milalja was anxious for us to see whatever it is she has to show us. Actually, wait, hang on. You're a new character. I do want to look at you. Or a new enemy type. I mean, it's just a pretty blue butterfly. It's kind of hard to see what the body looks like while it's flapping angrily at me. As opposed to the other enemies that have been around the place, though. This just looks like a butterfly. It's kind of hard to see if there's anything cool about its character details because it flaps up and down so regularly. What have we got? A hunting camp, like as not. I'd love to talk to Mamulja hunters and learn about their ways, except they'd probably ignore me. The others have continued on. Let's catch up to them. Genuine curiosity now. Will you actually speak to me? Nope. Okay, makes sense. Carry on. Love that Dawntrail normal battle theme. I've liked the music in Dawntrail quite a lot so far. Big shout out to that springy overland theme that, let me look at my notes to remember the area name. Big shout out to that springy overland theme that, where did the Feet of Reeds take place? Feet of Pots, Feet of Reeds. That, Kozama Uka has to it. Oh, cool. A cave. Nothing bad happens in a cave. I was not aware that such shells could be found in the Jatika heartland. I'm also surprised by the cave. Right. Milalja, show me. This is the place you want to show us? It lies just beyond this passage. Entry to these grounds is not permitted even to the devout. Nonetheless, I would reveal our secrets to you. Rest assured I shall take full responsibility. Come, see for yourself the truth of the blessed. How many corpses we got? There's a theme coming in play that I found kind of bland. Tuliolol's theme is good but ill-fitting, Lama. I haven't found anything super ill-fitting yet, so I'm gonna be curious to see what comes up later. Oh no.
I shouldn't have looked down.
She is afraid of
The
heights.
stone pier yonder. That is our destination.
Do we get to dive?
To erect it there would have been no small feat.
The work of Yakui hands built long ago. Our forebears merely altered the entrance.
Altered? To what end?
It will be quicker to show you. We have beasts that can carry us below.
Big bird friend. Well, come on. Hasn't anyone ever told you that it's rude to stare? Also, this is completely unrelated, but something in my heart wants to believe that since they were like, Woklamat was pushed into the cenote by a Mamook, or at least there was a Mamook nearby, some part of me wants to believe that that isn't actually what happened, that there was a Mamook by happenstance. What's up, Bakul? I didn't expect to see you down here.
Bakul Cha-Cha.
What? Couldn't wait to laugh at the failure?
You've always come here to cry. Ever since you were little.
Mother?
Alright, good to get that out of the way.
The third promise seeks to learn about Mamuk. She may be our chance to finally end what we have been powerless to stop. Talk with her. Tell her what we have done.
Fine. Perhaps it's only right that we be the ones to speak of it. Blessed as we are.
I'm okay with the Buckle Zha Zha face turn. Okay, I'd be a little bit mad about it. He did release a dragon with the... Oh?
This vessel holds the remains of a two-headed Mabunja. An infant. We converted the ruins into a cenotaph, so the souls of these children wouldn't return as vengeful spirits. Do you know how blessed siblings are made?
I've heard that they are born to Hubago and Bunawa parents.
Such unions between clans were originally arranged to stop infighting. The war against the Shibral was going poorly, and we needed to be united. Then, one day, a child was born. One blessed with two heads and tremendous power. When this child grew old enough to lead our army, we became unstoppable. The Shibral had no answer, and we drove them all the way back to the trees above. That taste of victory awakened our greed. We became obsessed with conceiving more and more of these superior children. No matter the cost. Of the countless born, most die. Trapped in their shells. Only 1 in 100 survive.
I was really close with 0.5%. Sorry. You're talking about tragedy. Continue.
If we are blessed, it is only because we yet live. Unlike our brothers and sisters, who were sacrificed for the glory of Mamuk.
That's horrible.
Of course it's horrible. It's an atrocity we can never take back. Those children died so that we could live. So we had to succeed, no matter what. To fail would mean it was all for nothing. Nothing. But I did fail. I squandered their sacrifice.
Oh man, I don't want to click either of these options. You did unleash a dragon on... You would have bluntly killed a lot more than 99 people. Don't use them as an excuse.
I should never have been born.
You're wrong. You didn't asked to be born as you are, and you aren't responsible for your siblings' deaths. The people obsessed with blessed siblings are. They made their choices, but they don't make yours.
Exactly, like your choice to release a terrible beast upon the land. I'll stop now.
Since when do you let others push you around Bakul Jaja? What do you want? Say it!
Okay, I'm gonna say it at least one more time, but...
I want it to end. I don't want any more to die.
Then you have my word. We'll put a stop to this madness.
Blessed siblings are revered by their supporters as a means to achieve dominance in Tyral. If we understand why they harbor such aspirations in the first place, we would be better equipped to treat with them.
Indeed. I just hope they will be open to discourse.
Take me with you. Those fanatics treat my words as gospel.
No. There will be trouble if your father finds out you're still here. Moshutural Zush. There we will gather the people, and ask anything the Third Promise wishes to know.
Then take one of my scales. One that blends the Hubico and Bunewa coloring. It'll serve as proof that you have our trust. People will do as you say if you show it to them.
Okay, this is kind of out of character for me. Because I think I would have been a lot harsher and a lot angrier about this beforehand. However, you remember how I complained about him releasing the big dragon thing and it being treated like too lightly? It being treated...
Sorry for what I've said and done. I don't expect your forgiveness.
You had your reasons. I'm glad I could know them.
Okay, no, hang on. I like what you said earlier in this cutscene more. You had your reasons, does not.
Which is to say, you're not a complete alpaca Zaz.
Thanks, Wuklama.
Well, maybe it's for the best. Hatred is exhausting, after all.
Indeed. So let us make the most of our newfound friendship and bring together the people of Mamuk. We have much to discover.
Okay. I've been very positive about Dawntrail. I think I'm very comfortable describing this as the first bad cutscene. Not because... Okay. I'm going to try to wrap up a bunch of thoughts about this very quickly. I complained earlier about the dragon being treated almost as like a mean prank rather than like an atrocity of the worst scale, which it was kind of half presented as in the story. Like, Work Lamont was pissed as hell, obviously, but like the fact that there weren't immediate consequences and this guy being disqualified and thrown in jail and stuff, like, kind of not treated as the worst possible thing that somebody should do. That does kind of help this scene out a little bit more, because the fact that it isn't treated as bad as it is almost makes me want to forgive this scene more. However, one of the things was the Stormblood comic. One of the things that I really like about Stormblood is how it deals with... No, I'm going to explain what I wanted to say, and then I'm going to explain why it's wrong. One of the things I like about Stormblood is how it really sits in that discomfort and that exploration of, like, you did a horrible thing. How do we proceed? Like, we can't forgive you, but you do genuinely regret it, and that places it in, like, an interesting moral complexity of, like, someone who committed atrocities, but is, like, I don't want to say morally gray, because they definitely weren't morally gray, and they definitely weren't good, and they definitely weren't forced into it, but the situation around them and the situation after the atrocities was very interesting in Stormblood and very fun to think about / talk about. However, comma, the problem I have with that is that Stormblood was established in, like, years, decades of mistreatment and atrocities, but Bakul Jaja, to my understanding, has basically just been a dick during the Rite of Succession and probably didn't really do anything really bad at all before that, besides just kind of being a dick. Like, I said early in the stream that I could see a Bakul Jaja face turn, and that was because I liked him having to deal with his failure. This has resolved no matter what way too quickly, which is something that I want to forgive. I want to understand. But for how good so much of this plot has been to burn itself slow, I would have wanted us to be a lot more on the side of, we will work with you, Bakul Jaja, to end this thing, but you're still bad, and then have more development to the point where we can call ourselves genuine allies after this trial ends. I kind of assume this trial ends with Bakul Jaja helping us defeat the Shade of the Dawn Servant, which is neat in and of itself. Like, that would be neat, but this cutscene has lost me a little bit. Honestly, I liked all of Wooklamot's actions and words until she said, "You had your reasons." That's just a bad line. That's just bad. That I can unabashedly call bad. You can't have your reasons to endanger a continent with a fire-breathing dragon that wants to kill thousands. Like, it's close. It's close enough that I think it's bad, but I'm not angry about it. Valley Garmonda is definitely a big-ass bird. Fair. I've been calling it a dragon a lot. I know that's wrong. I do hold DT's willingness to just move past things against it. Yeah. Yeah, that's basically my opinion. The release of Valley Garmonda was treated a lot more lightly than I wanted it to be treated. That kind of helps this scene. However, I needed, like, just a couple more quest lines. Just a little bit longer. Unfortunately, as much as I've liked Wooklamot's character development throughout this, the one thing that I'm kind of annoyed about is that sometimes people are evil, and Wooklamot's inherent trustworthiness of people was something that I thought the sometimes people are evil thing was going to collide with. And I thought Bakul Jaja was kind of the appetizer for whatever the fuck's gonna happen with Zeralja. I don't know if we're gonna get a Zeralja face turn still, but Bakul Jaja getting a face turn is very surprising to me, and I kinda makes me assume Zeralja will also get a face turn, but we'll have to see. Yeah, I'm willing to look past this a bit more. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not as mad as I feel like I would have been. Like, if this had happened in, like, Heaven Towards Stormblood, like, Shadowbringers and everything, especially Shadowbringers, I feel like I would have been a lot more mad. Then again, Shadowbringers has the mountain, which I am still mad about. So, you know, maybe I am still maybe I am still capable of rage. Hey, Dekka, before we rejoin the others, can we talk for a moment? I really hated him, you know. Bakul Jaja, with every fiber of my being. He tried to ruin Ihana, sabotaged us on the river, kidnapped me for my keystone, and released the most vicious Tural Vidral of all time. Anything he could do to cause us pain, he did. But never in a million years would I forgive him. But the moment I understood why he did what he did, the pain he's been carrying this whole time, all my anger just evaporated. Does his pain justify his actions in your eyes? Okay, no, hang on, Dawntrail, go off, explore this. I hear you. Bakul Jaja's motives don't absolve him of his crimes. He must answer for them like anyone else. But right now, my duty is to ensure that no one in Mamuk feels desperate enough to go to such lengths ever again. Anyway, thanks for listening. And now that I've voiced that, I feel ready. What the fuck? I feel readier for the challenges ahead. Come on, let's head back to the site. See, I like that dialogue. That's good. That is an appropriate reaction. Okay, I'm not going to read too much into this until it's over. I am going to go out of my way to grab this ether real quick. Dawntrail got a lot of pass for me because I wasn't expecting Warrior of Life beach episode. I'm glad I didn't go into this expansion with that mindset. I think that if there's one thing I'll give myself credit for, shortly after I got here, after the light of Succession was like fully introduced, I didn't really know what I was doing. But after the light of Succession was fully introduced, and I think it was somewhere during the Feat of Reed, which was like, you know, still level 90, level 91, was where it really clicked into place of like, oh, the point of this is to introduce me to the continent. And I think it was really during this stream where it clicked into place where I'm like, oh, this is like the optimum version of A Realm Reborn. Does that make sense? Like, this is a good version of what A Realm Reborn could have been. Introducing us to a continent, introducing us to the people on that continent, having us engage with the leaders of a bunch of different, like, you know, different peoples. This, to me, is a good A Realm Reborn. That's my current interpretation / understanding of it as somebody who is only less than halfway through it. Bakul Jaja's scale represents his faith in us. We won't fail him or his people. It's amazing how Mark can connect with everyone. Shut up. Sometimes it's best just to forgive and move on. It can be difficult. Gods don't know it, but there's all the more reason to try to damage to look past what you're wrong. Don't let bygones be bygones. Alize, you? Alize. You. She's had a lot of character development, I guess. We haven't a moment to lose. According to Mililja, Moshutural Zhuj. Is this X pronounced like an X or is it pronounced like a sh? I'm assuming it's like a sh because that's what every other X has been like. Moshutural Zhuj is an abandoned settlement northwest of the city. It should afford us the privacy we require. We must work quickly, lest the real Jad discover our intentions. Fortunately, Bakul Jaja thought to give us additional scales, so we might cover more ground in less time. Everyone should take one and get going. Use them to gather as many people as you can. Honestly, I'm kind of expecting to be let down by the rest of this feat of Brotherhood. I'm expecting this to be kind of a letdown. Dekka, let's retrace our steps. Maybe this time we can convince folks to lend an ear. After how quickly we forgave Bakul Jaja and the amount of time that the other feats have had, I'm not anticipating this being executed on in a way that I find personally satisfying. But let's see what happens. Did I not tell you to move along? I can't be seen talking with the likes of you. A blessed scale in an outsider's hands. What business do you have with me? So Bakul Jaja sent you to call an assembly. I'm not sure what to make of this, but I shall go to Moshe Tural Zouj at once. This is the part of the story where I personally started to sour my good vibes going into Dawntrail. Yeah, I'm a little worried. That scale. If the Blessed trust you, then so will I. So, what is it that you require of me? Bakul Jaja bids us come to Moshe Tural Zouj. A strange place for an assembly, but very well. I will not refuse he who fights for our dreams. I think that's kind of what I meant when my expectations. This is the start of a new story, so I was expecting a lot of dominoes being put into place. Yeah, okay. I mean, sure. That's not my interpretation of like a beach episode. Beach episode to me is something that's just like kind of fun and doesn't actually mean that much, which is why I resist that framing of it. But if that's your interpretation of like what that means, it follows my interpretation pretty closely of what I expect Dawntrail to be. Have you managed to gather some of the good folks? Wonderful. The esteemed Bakul Jaja will be pleased. Funny line. This fellow here will be coming to Moshe Tural Zouj as well. Apparently, there's a Najul nursery to the west called Golmajik Grove. Could you go and see who you can talk to there as well? I'll meet you in Moshe Tural Zouj afterwards. There's just one more person I need to find. Yeah, my interpretation of the... I'm getting nervous. And I like to try to like things. So I'm admittedly getting very nervous that after so much time in the driver's seat in Final Fantasy XIV, where I was much more negative about something than chat was, I'm incredibly nervous about the fact that people are now hinting towards more problems to come. But I will remain hopeful. The fact that we were all agreeing on our interpretations of all the other plot stuff before this could mean nothing. Leave this place, outsider. Oh, my apologies. I was unaware. I thank you, blessed Scalebearer, for bringing me word of this gathering. I shall away to Moshe Tural Zouj at once. Oh god, did Waklamat go to get fucking... When she said one more person... Is she explicitly inviting Zrilja? It's definitely my least favorite Final Fantasy XIV story thus far. Behind a Realm Reborn? You know the phrase damning with faint praise? I do have my I wrote these during the credit slots, ready to yeet upon you eventually. Bryce, I have a very strong feeling that this is going to be one of those expansions where we disagree pretty violently, and I'm genuinely looking forward to it. I'm excited to argue about Dawntrail with you. You've given me a curse. I can't wait to hear your negative feelings. We'll see if my feelings also sour as much. I think you'll land ultimately pretty close to where I did. Uh-oh, Scooby. Where's Work Lamont? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, she was getting Kiwama. That's nice. Sorry to keep you waiting. You invited the second promise as well. Lamachi, need I remind you that this right is a competition? Whatever advantage you're about to share with me, you ought to utilize to your own benefit. I've barely made headway in communicating with the locals. At this rate, you lead the race to the Golden City. I need your help. To complete the feat? No. Mamuk has a problem I can't solve on my own, and you're the most clever person I know. I want you to hear the people firsthand so that we may come up with a way to help them. Very well. I am at your disposal. Excellent character writing. I love the way these two interact. They're always a treat. Everyone, thank you for gathering on such short notice. I am Work Lamont, third promise of Tuliolol. Promise? I thought you served Bakul Jaja. You deceived us! No, they did not. The scales they showed you were mine. I entrusted them to the third promise and her retinue. Why honor these outsiders so? Oh god, remember what I said earlier about how it makes sense that the characters that's like introducing us to all this strife and everything, and like the framing of everything was a woman? Is the way to tell the female Mamulja the ones that have head coverings? I'm leaving interpretation of that open to the reader. Open to everyone else. Because Work Lamont has won my trust, now you will hear her words. Bakul Jaja shared with me the truth about blessed siblings, about the price you paid to conceive them. As an outsider to your community, it is not my place to judge you or your culture. Culture is born of the experiences of its people, of their lives and their land. But it breaks my heart to know that yours has brought you all so much suffering. Also, serious question. while I'm going through this cutscene, I'm sorry, but before I forget, because it is getting late and my time is running out very quickly, he mentioned a two-head that went across the salt to conquer Eorzea and who failed. Someone of the Silver Scales, please, somebody tell me / inform me if that was a boss that we fought in extra contents before this, because my character specifically reacted to it, and I need to know. That was a boss in A Realm Reborn. Fantastic. Okay, fucking A. Cool. If any here wish to break from the cycle of tragedy that created Blessed Siblings' demands, I ask that you join us. Please. I don't want any more of our children to die. You think we want this? We have no choice. Only Blessed Siblings can liberate us from our suffering. Without them, we have nothing. That remains to be seen. Speak with the third promise. Share with her your worries and your pain, and together we may find a new way forward. Together? If she is trustworthy, then I will speak with her. It would be best if you withdrew, my son. Many cannot yet speak freely in your presence. Let's keep an eye out for Zerilja. He wouldn't take kindly to this sort of gathering. This is going a lot more positively than I expected it to. I expected a lot more strife. Once we understand everyone's concerns, we'll be better equipped to help them. Let's make sure they feel heard. I haven't done Wanderer's Palace. Is Wanderer's Palace the thing where you go down a bunch of floors and you level up as you go? I'm glad Kwana agreed to help us. He's always been good at solving complicated problems. Me, not so much. But I'll support Mamuk's people however I can. By combining our respective strengths, we'll help them discover a new source of hope. I know we will. Okay, my brain is a little bit confused / concerned about one not so minor detail, which is the explicit point that, like, these unions, they were 3 separate tribes. They were supposed to be unions to, like, help bring the tribes together. And then a two-head was born. My immense confusion about whether or not people from different tribes having a child always results in a two-head, thus with a 1% chance of actually living, or what? And explicitly, it makes me mildly weirded out / uncomfortable that you have these different tribes. You were like, we're going to have weddings and unions and everything to, like, unite our tribes, and then that results 100% of the time in the two-head problem. That feels clunky and mildly weird / bad, to say the least. Alright, Dekka. Before we start, let's make sure we're remembering our history correctly. The Mamulja and Zabral fought for centuries over the land in the upper forest, but due to infighting, Mamulja forces struggled to make significant gains. In order to promote cooperation, the Hubigo and Bunawa clans intermarried, and that's how Blessed Siblings were first conceived. With that in mind, let's talk to the people and learn why they rely on Blessed Siblings. Wait, I just realized, do I have extra armor that I didn't equip? No. Blessed Siblings promise us more than strength. They promise us the sun. This forest is dark and inhospitable. When given the opportunity to live in Tuliyollal, most of our people didn't think twice. Still, the prospect of being among so many outsiders was intimidating enough to keep many of us here. Blessed siblings are meant to deliver us from this accursed forest, to lead us to the fertile land above, where we might make a place for Mamulja to abide in peace and plenty. So you desire fertile land, one that's all your own. The lands were once rich with ore, but the Yaqui did not stop digging until all the veins were spent. The meteorites are only good for so much. Even if we made overtures to traders, we have little to offer. Nothing would make me happier than to make a good life for my family in the place where I was born. But that's impossible. So with resources as sparse as they are, you don't have good prospects for trade. As you'll have noticed, this forest is very dark. Hardly any sunlight makes it through the canopy, so it feels like it's always night. We plow, we fertilize, we irrigate. It rains every single fucking second of the day. Yet our crops shrivel and die as though cursed. The only ones that will grows well is Najul, Jatika banana, and Turali. Try living on that and little less for a few centuries and see how you like it. A forest where nothing grows. It's not hard to imagine why you'd want to leave. Those who have known only open skies and bountiful land cannot comprehend our plight. To thrive, we must take what we lack by force, and for that, we need the might of blessed siblings. There have to be other ways to thrive. Ways that don't require fighting. Well, I think I'm starting to understand. Everyone had their own perspective, but all their concerns were about the forest itself. Dark and fertile, cursed? Hearing that, it's little wonder that people wish they had better land. And who better to get it for them than a blessed siblings? It's hard to convince people to stay in a place that can't provide what they need. You think of meteorites at least would have value, but apparently not. Hold on. Didn't Tarrenville mention something about the meteorites? That the ether they emit makes the plants glow blue? A rather significant physiological effect, I would say. If we were to study these meteorites, we might discover other ways they influence local flora. I noticed a curious amalgam of a tree and meteorite just south of here. Determining precisely how they interact with one another may yield crucial insights. Everyone, I really appreciate you for sharing your thoughts with us. Thanks to your insights, we have a promising idea already. We just need a moment to investigate it further, so please bear with us. We'll be right back. A blessing sibling already set them free. His name is Gulul Shashai. He's their liege lord. They can go wherever they want to all and encourage you to do so. This is a bad plot point. I genuinely disagree. I understand the strong desire for people to live in what is essentially an ancestral homeland. I think that the execution of it is a little clunky, but I think that I understand where they're coming from here and why they would be upset / mad. But the issue is they said they want to leave. Yeah, this one takes some willful interpretation from me. I don't agree with that. The thing is that they like... Here's my interpretation of that. You've got this area, Yaktel. They want to stay in Yaktel. This is a representation of Yaktel. It's not the entirety of Yaktel. They want to live in Yaktel. They've always lived in Yaktel. The forests down here suck. There's fertile land up here. They can't have the fertile land. They don't want to leave Yaktel. They just want to control all of Yaktel, essentially. Or realistically, they just kind of want to be able to farm and stuff up here. That's my current interpretation. Okay, but the Zabak are their allies now. They can live up there now with the Zabak. They are allowed to do that. Like, you are on the most basic level right. These are like there's enough fuzziness here. There's the fact that these are traditionalists, and inherently, like, when you're at war with a people for decades upon centuries, even though you're at peace with them, you know, moving in and living and trusting with them is essentially step 2, and it sounds like step 2 never really happened here. So I can see the situation. I'm willing to buy into this plot point of essentially, yes, they are literally at peace. The fighting did stop. There was the cutscene before this where they seem to be on much better terms with the Zabrak, of course, because of the banquet. You could argue, of course, if you want to, that that was because the Dawn Servant was there, so they had a two-head there, so they felt safe. But, like, I'm willing to buy in to basically everybody who was willing to live in the Dawn Servant's world, essentially, one of peace and acceptance, having already left. And now these people are not just not leaving because they are, like, you know, racist or something, they hate the Zabrak, etc. That's not the reason they are leaving. It's more so that they just have strong enough ties to their home and their traditions and everything that leaving would be a much bigger problem for them than the people who already left. That's my current interpretation of everything that's going on. Is like, yes, everybody who would agree with you left, and these are the people for whom leaving, you know, that they're abandoning their, essentially their home and the culture that comes from being in Yaktel is too much for them. Galul Jaja prior to becoming the Dawn Servant was the Autarch of Mamuk. He was a cultural leader for this specific culture. Yeah, like, that's why I think we don't know, like, yeah, a lot of people left. I'm willing to buy into that. It's an MMO. Naturally, like, if you run around Tuliolal in, like, the world, there's, like, 20, 30 NPCs. Realistically, if we could see Tuliolal as it actually is, it probably contains tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. Like, imagine, from their perspective, having the Autarch, having the leader of the people negotiate a peace. You think to yourself, finally, Yaktel will be, like, unified in a certain way, and then he kind of leaves. My interpretation of this all so far is being more annoyed / critical of the Dawn Servant for not realizing the severity of the issue. The fact that a lot of his people left with him probably gives him, like, some shielding here from, like, not understanding how bad it was. Also running an entire continent. But 2 continents, running an entire 2 continents. Tural is both continents, right? That was kind of vague to me. I was mildly confused. You hate this plot point? Yeah. I'm a lot less angry at this plot point. I'm not really angry at all at this plot point. I find it kind of interesting. I'm willing to buy in to everybody who would really be able to... Oh, there's a parallel here. Hang on, there's a parallel I'm trying to remember. What was another situation in this expansion where a people did not want to leave behind their culture / homeland? There's a parallel here with something else that's already happened, and I cannot remember what it is. The Aqui. The Aqui, who remain / consider themselves conquerors and see abandoning that conquesting nature as essentially forgetting their ancestors or ignoring what they were for, which, considering that a lot of the culture around death is built around remembering people so that they don't truly die. The Yakwi, I wrote down what the name of that particular tribe was. I need to check my notes. Let's see. Come on, where did I write it down? Vorpalor. The Vorpalor section of the Yakwi are essentially, to me, the parallel of this section of Mamulja, where the Vorpalor were like, we, you know, were conquerors of the entire land. We lost so many people in this attempt to conquest the north, and the people who then changed their minds and were able/willing to live in peace are betraying those ancestors by not remembering and honoring their deeds, is my current understanding/interpretation of the Vorpalor. I think that's a very accepting parallel to these Mamulja, who were essentially like, we're not leaving the forest, we're not abandoning this, we must control Yaktel, essentially. Basically, to accept this plot point, you have to assume Gululja is massively ignorant of the people he directly ruled. I, again, am willing to give it a lot more space because we don't know what percentage of the Mamulja left. To my basic guesstimates, what I'm essentially imagining this as is like 90% of the Mamulja left. Even as much as like 50% of the Mamulja left. And with Gululjaja running an entire continent, as long as like more than 50% of the Mamulja left, which realistically I think they fucking did, I have more forgiveness of this plot point. Alas. So for, I'm going to be conservatively estimated at least a century after the directly, he just doesn't know shit about his own people. One could argue he sees all of Tural as his own people. Incredibly, it really is incredible how a tree could support such an enormous boulder. The meteorite's etheric emissions are palpable even from this distance. Seeing this again makes me feel more confident in sharing a theory of mine. I suspect that only plants with an etheric affinity to these meteorites can thrive in this forest. If so, the gargantuan trees that create the dense canopy would by necessity possess the same affinity, as well as the aforementioned Najul tree. Indeed. I should like to analyze samples of meteorite before drawing any definitive conclusions, however. I carry with me a few devices that will aid in this endeavor, but perhaps you and Kyle could lend your expertise as well. Is this all a little ham-fisted? Yes. Is it so ham-fisted that I'm like mad about it? No. I'd like to join you. The etheric signature of these meteorites may be crucial in determining what manner of species might fare well here. Is it ham-fisted enough that after I got so mad at the mountain, I kind of understand why someone would be mad about this? Also, yes. I think I see what you're getting at. If we can prove to them the cursed forest isn't quite so cursed, maybe the people won't feel like blessed siblings aren't their only solution. So, how can I help you? Want me to climb the tree and break off a piece of meteorite for you? There are plenty of fragments on the ground already. It should be enough for our purposes if we gather about 5 pieces each. Even better if those fragments are gathered from disparate locations. I will collect your pieces once you have them. Should have been Kyle asking the fish out of water questions. You might say she gets the short end of the stick. I don't get it. Oh, is it because she's short? Regardless, I 100%... I like Worklamat's curiosity and excitement, but actual, like, mild naivete about her own nation. So the reason this tree grew so big is because of the meteorite's energies. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry. I thought that was it. I was waiting for her to say something else. I was like, go on. Wait, I want to talk with Kyle first. Alright. Oh, fuck. I have to gather a bunch of shards. Damn. I need to pay more attention. What's up, buddies? Should have bought better tools. You and me both. Too big for our purposes, but sure of it might do. I also think that given how bad, or I think that the situation here, this plot point is also tremendously mixed with the handling of Bakul Jaja as a character, which me specifically tempering my expectations / mild annoyance of that is helping me handle this a lot better. I have mine already, so let me know when you have yours. I also think this is going to have to be the last quest I do before I go to bed. It's 11:15. My alarm is in 8 hours and 15 minutes. I never get up when the alarm goes off. I tend to get up an hour after that, but still. This is probably what we're going to call it today, is at the end of this quest. Did you find your fragments? Here you go, buddy. Much obliged. Alvino, Kyle, and I will combine the gathered samples and conduct an analysis forthwith. Determining the wavelength may take a little while, but I am hopeful that our efforts will bear fruit. I'll tell my sister to await our arrival at Moshtural Zuj, so go and meet her there. We will return with our results as soon as possible. There's also explicitly the fact that the Zabral and Mamulja still absolutely hate each other. I don't like the leader of the Jabal did just happen to see a Mamulja around when his daughter fell into a cenote. And has kind of assumed for like however many years that Mamulja definitely pushed his daughter into the cenote. Which immediately raises a mild yellow flag. Like, I don't... Wait, I didn't look at your design, but you look cool as fuck. Oh, I really like this. It looks like a chocobo, but it's like a wooden frame surrounding energies. That's cool. It almost looks like you... Okay, I hate that I have to say it this way, but it almost looks like you took an elemental from Skyrim and applied that type of visual design to a chocobo. Does that make sense? Like, the elementals from Skyrim fucking rock. And I'm not saying they copied, I just think it's the same, like, sort of vibe. Right. We've done all we can. The rest we must leave to Kwan and the others. I don't know the first thing about these Charlene devices of his, but if they can be helpful to the Mamook, I'm glad he has them. There's hope for this force yet, Deca. I can feel it. Okay, this has to be where I go to bed. It's too late. Even if it only takes me like another 20-30 minutes to finish this, I have to go to bed. The good news, or the medium news, is that not actually a lot happened in terms of notes. So I remember all of this come Saturday, because Dawntrail streams are Tuesdays and Saturdays. Unless I completely fuck up doing a stream, and then I just do a Dawntrail stream on Sundays for some fucking reason for like 5 hours. But that was a fun stream, so whatever. Yeah. We definitely, okay. We definitely run into what I would comfortably say is the first hitch of Dawntrail. I think that the Jabal trial and everything was like pretty good. I think this Mamulja trial, if you had asked me previously, my previous like low of this expansion would have, I think, pretty easily have been the feat of Potts. The feat of Potts was kind of lame to me and kind of didn't sit very well with me. It wasn't very good. But now the feat of Brotherhood is questionable / losing it to me. But next time I stream, Saturday, theoretically 10 a.m. Pacific time, but God knows I've been starting as late as like 1 p.m. Pacific time sometimes when I get up on Saturday, which will hopefully be a lot earlier this time. Yeah. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna process it all. Look forward to Saturday morning when I cry at my screen about how nothing actually makes sense and that I hate this plot point. That is my favorite part, actually, of going through these expansions, is always seeing how my opinion changes over time. I feel like my opinion on Stormblood was a lot more negative and then turned positive. I feel like my opinion going through Shadowbringers started more positive and then drifted more negative as the expansion went on. I'm curious to see which way this runs. Are you mad because the bathroom door is closed again? Even though you don't have to go through that door in order to get into this room?
You don't understand. There's 2 offices. You can get to the office that's through this open door.
Yes.
And you can also get to the office through the bathroom door. They're 2 different offices.
They are 2 different offices. I didn't think about...
He needs to make sure that you're also in the other office.
I don't know if you'll be able to see him sticking his paws under the door. Come on. I'm waiting for him to do it again. He's moving around behind the door. He's very upset. I can see him thinking about it. He's yapping. He's yelling a little. There he goes. There he goes. He's so mad. Alright. Why am I... Oh, I'm dumb. There we go. We're gonna raid Faust. Because Faust is still up. Is always up forever. Go tell Faust that she's cool. She's playing Sly Cooper for the first time. God bless her. I always find it really funny. I always find Faust streams really funny because Faust is on the East Coast and I'm on the West Coast. And I always tap out way earlier than she does. Yeah. Good night, everybody. If you came here from Barry's stream, thanks for sticking around. And also go to bed. And if you don't want to go to bed, tell Faust that you say hi because Frost is funny and cool. Later. And if you're still here,
In this one line, which made it
take
so
care of
much
yourself.
easier.